All right, guys. So our penultimate topic here before we get into this little chunk of Marvel news that we have is something kind of interesting. When the article first came out, I think a lot of people were kind of confused as to what they were actually talking about here, because an article came out the other day that said Netflix is going to be focusing on like adding video games and like adding games to the pre-existing Netflix app. So this was not going to be a secondary like service created by Netflix that you would subscribe to for like gaming, like picture like Google Stadia or something like that. Because speaking of which, that's what most people seem to. That's what the article when they first spoke about Netflix adding the gaming section to this to their app. It seemed like most people envisioned it like a games as a service type of thing, like Google Stadia, so you could go in and just like stream X, Y, and Z game through the Netflix app. Because the article went on to say that like they're not gonna like charge an extra fee for this. It wasn't gonna be an add-on service. It was just gonna be they're gonna add video games and they'll be there. You just come with your monthly subscription and then you go on about your day. But another article has came out that seems to have clarified a little bit of what their intent is with it. So in the article, they go on to actually reference the Black Mirror, what do they call it? I forget what they call it. Yeah, Bandersnatch. And if you remember the like Black Mirror Bandersnatch thing, what they did, it was like an almost like a choose your own adventure style game, but like built into the movie. So it was like a choose your own adventure version of the movie. So as you were watching the movie, it would pop up and you'd have an option to choose what the main character did. So they shot the movie with the character doing these different things, and then you choose it, and then it goes that route. So you see how the movie plays out with having these choices in there. So it's built off one of those choose your own adventure style games. And this article seems to go through and kind of indicate that that's more or less what they were talking about. So they're saying they want to create new types of stories and new product experiences, and they'll be overseen by Netflix Interactive. And then the goal of games created by Netflix Interactive is to enhance and deepen member engagement. So it seems like, and then they go on to explicitly reference the Black Mirror Bandersnatch game as an example of the games in quotes that they have produced and that they're going to be producing. So it seems like they're more or less going to be adding these things, these different types of, I don't even know if you can call them games. Like some will probably be more interactive than others, but it's going to be like if you go to watch an episode of something, there will also be like some little game you can play with it, but it's going to be explicitly about the title that you're watching, as opposed to you being able to just go and play Assassin's Creed or something and just stream it like Google Stadia functions through your Netflix, subscription. So they don't really clarify too much on it. Like they just like it's kind of like loose as because I guess I don't they probably don't know exactly what all they want to do with it, as would be my guess. But another quote here is like the opportunity before us is to expand our slate of interactive innovations and capabilities, including but not limited to new types of features like game-like experiences and different ways of interacting with stories. It's time to reimagine the future of entertainment yet again. So what do you guys think about this though? Do you think this is like a good thing for them to do? Do you think anybody would really care about this? Or do you think like what this is mainly going to end up becoming is just more of the choose your own adventure style things? Or do you think they're actually going to start building in like companion games? Like, John, what do you think?
I mean, my initial reaction is this is 3D all over again. I mean, what,
Hmm.
a decade ago, 3D was all the hotness. Like Avatar, oh, Avatar's the biggest movie in the world. James Cameron's going to do this immersive 3D effect, and like Avatar, how boring that movie is aside, the 3D and it was fine. It was it is what it is. Like I've never walked into any 3D movie over the past when I was a kid, like when I was 4 and 5 and I put on the red and blue glasses and watched a 3D movie, like yeah, I was shook, like, oh my God, that's coming out of the screen. But since I turned 10, I just it's a fun effect at times, but most of the time it just seemed like an excuse to sell me a higher movie ticket price. So
Yep.
this seems kind of like the 3D phase or the 3D hype that was everybody thought that was the future of the future of cinema, the thing that's going to save cinema is going to be 3D. And now you have a 3D movie every now and then, but like it's died off. People have finally given up. Now wait till the next Avatar movie comes out, but we'll see. But anyway, I mean the idea is nice if as long as they're not increasing subscription charges. If they think that they need to do this to compete and innovate against the other streaming services because there's so many out there. That's fine. I hope this doesn't take away from them continuing to produce, quality shows and films and stuff. I mean that I would even maybe prefer that they put their money more into script development and so that their movies are even better. I mean, I don't think their movies are bad now, but we've talked about how their movies aren't like the there's definitely a for the most part a quality drop between like a movie you would expect to see on a theater and then a Netflix quality movie. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it seems like Netflix, as far as their movies have always been, it's a quantity over quality as far
Yeah.
as their
Yeah.
originals go. Because like every once in a while, you get what was that Marriage Story? You'll get a Marriage
Yep.
Story, and then you'll get the Martin Scorsese one, The
The Irishman,
Irishman.
yeah.
You'll get one, you'll get two of those, but for every two of those, you get 20 random Adam Sandler movies that he probably wrote while he was drunk or something. Because
Right.
like they're not very good. Like and not to fault Adam Sandler's still awesome, and I think he should stick to doing dramatic work because like he was amazing in Uncut Gems. Like I don't think people give him enough credit for his dramatic work at all. Like, but his comedy stuff hasn't really been all that good in the last 10 years, and so, but not just a shit on Adam Sandler. There's just more movies like Adam Sandler movies that go straight to Netflix. Like the David Spade's always there, and I love David Spade, but it's just like it's those style. There's 20 of those, and then
When I see
one
David
Irishman movie.
when I see David Spade in a movie, I'm just like, "Oh."
Yeah, David Spade's great, but like I know what you're saying because like it's like well, David Spade's in here. How good could the movie be?
Exactly. Like, I'm not saying David Spade's not a bad guy or anything like that, but it's just like when I see him in a movie, I'm like, "Mm."
Yeah, I
It's like, how
love
good
David
can this
Spade in
be?
the old sitcom Just Shoot Me. I love that shit.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
talking like, what is the one where like
Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt and like that movie where like him and Adam Sandler and all those dudes like meet up. They're like friends from whatever.
Yeah, Grown Ups.
Grown Ups, yeah. It's just like, oh great, David
Yeah,
Spade. Like
I
it's
know.
one of those David Spade quality movies.
Yeah,
Is like what I
exactly.
think. Kind of like Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I love Adam Sandler. That's the thing. I'm not faulting him. It's just those movies that they've been making in the last 10 years. Those like pure comedy movies from like involved with like Adam.
It's just supposed to be really funny the whole
Yeah,
movie.
and it's
Like,
humor I don't really appreciate. Like it, like on it's like in your face. This is funny. Like you know what I mean. I'm more of a lowbrow kind of guy myself.
yeah.
Like like, but nevertheless, or more of a like lowbrow is what that is. Like it's the opposite.
You like a little more like yeah,
I like dry kind
substance,
of
yeah.
like it's not really funny kind of stuff. It's
That's
just
what I'm
kind of
saying. Like to
humorous.
me, it's
Like
funny when it's just like stupid humor, stuff that's not supposed to be funny.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like ever since like the Hangover kind of like popped off.
I didn't care for that.
Hangover was very like much like kind of an in your face kind of like this stuff is supposed to be funny.
Like this is
Wild stuff
wild
happening.
and crazy
And it's all just gone kind of downhill since then. Like
yeah.
because I mean, even with the Hangover, Hangover 1 was great, and then the preceding ones were not, you know. But nevertheless, like the funny thing is in this article too is like because like I said, it doesn't seem like they even know what they're gonna say or what Netflix is trying to do. They haven't really confirmed it, and they say like the people who wrote this article said like rather than creating traditional video games, it sounds from the listing like Netflix Interactive aims to do something interactive that leans more toward the film world than the video game world. And like I said, they don't even know what it plans to be, but they're trying to get this out within the next year, which is kind of shocking. And then, especially since they haven't really explained what the product is, but they want it out in the next year.
Yeah.
It's kind
I
of
was reading
odd.
those reviews, like people were saying they're just like if they think that they're gonna be able to do this in a year, like this.
Yeah, like the people. There was a quote from someone down like in this article. It says like, there's no chance. They don't have a team. They're not capable of making games. And the idea that they think they're going to launch games next year is crazy. There's no chance they'll get anything made in the next year. It's just like, yeah. I mean, it seems like an odd choice because honestly, when it first came out that when this first dropped, and people were under the assumption that it was going to be more of like a games as a service, like Google Stadia,
Right.
that kind of made sense to me because they have the bandwidth there, they have the technology and the compression to provide all this streaming content, this movie content to everybody in their home. Like, why couldn't they throw in some additional servers in their sites and just host games on them?
Right.
Like, that made sense, like, but, I mean, that would also be something there'd be, like, licensing involved with that, with all the game studios, and then, like, I don't know how that would work, and then they would presumably have to charge more for that, like, I don't know. So, this seems more like, I feel like this is more like John says, kind of like a gimmicky thing, like, they'll have these things there. I don't know how much, like, throughput they're really gonna drive to, like, getting new subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, I gotta get Netflix because now they have this."
Gaming
Yeah,
system.
this trivia thing attached to all their movies or, like, some even if it's, like, the Bandersnatch thing, which again, like, I wouldn't want to like, I did the Bandersnatch thing for the Black Mirror Bandersnatch little thing they did, but I wouldn't wanna watch every movie like that. It was more of like 'cause I'd never even really watched the Black Mirror show, like, all that much. So, like, I really had no connection to it at all. I literally only watched it because of the gimmick. And that's not why I watch movies. Like, I don't wanna watch movies because of the gimmick associated with it, I just wanna watch a good movie.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll just have to see. I guess once we have some more information, there might be maybe we'll get a better idea of what they're aiming for, but until they release that information, I'm very hesitant to think this is good or bad or kinda like John said again, is this just gonna are they just gonna waste their resources on this and prevent like, shouldn't they be putting this to actually, like, making just more movies, especially with the
Better
competition
movies.
out there? Like yeah, because that's the thing, like, you have your HBO Max and your Disney Plus and, like, all these streaming services who are focusing on providing great content. And they have like, Netflix isn't gonna have all these IPs that they have. They don't have the IPs Disney have. They don't have, like, any IPs like
No, they
that.
don't have the traction that some
Yeah,
of these other
like,
streaming services have.
it's only gonna be a matter of time before, like, they're on top of they're the king of streaming right now still, but as these companies, as years go on, they're gonna have more and more original stuff there with IP that consumers are already interested in.
Right.
So it's I don't know. Seems like an uphill battle. I don't know. But question is, though, guys, what do you think about this? And do you think that inevitably speaking, this is just going to be more kind of like throwaway things attached to some of Netflix original titles? I'm sure some of them could be quite fun to do with, like, if there's like a Stranger Things. I don't know what you could do with it because it can't be like too interactive, like a true video game. If you don't, unless they're going to start shipping Netflix controllers out to people. So I don't really know what they're going with that. It seems like the only thing they possibly could do is like have some trivia type game associated with it, or like the choose your own adventure thing. Would you like to see more of that stuff? Like, I don't know. It seems kind of gimmicky. I don't know if it's going to drive in new subscribers, but we'll just have to wait and see. Whatever you think, let us know down in the comment section below.